What is up, YouTube? Isaac coming at you now after what I realize is a very long time. Now, I apologize for that, but life simply got in the way of making harmonica videos for YouTube. But today I have some time off. It's a Friday, it's Veterans Day, it's a holiday, and I've been feeling guilty about not following up on some of the things I said I would do for this channel. And I aim to start rectifying that today. In fact, what I'm going to do today is to start that series on the easy third tuning for diatonic 10-hole blues harmonicas. So if you're not familiar with the easy third tuning, it's an alternative tuning layout for the regular 10-hole blues harmonica. I have a couple of videos that sort of go over what it is, what the tuning is in more detail and why it's kind of useful. So I recommend, if you are just tuning into this video, to go check those other videos out on my channel. What I'm going to do today is just do a quick lesson on one particularly useful scale and way to use the scale in this tuning layout, this easy third tuning layout, that gives you more possibilities or different possibilities than on a standard Richter diatonic harmonica. And that scale is the third position minor pentatonic. Now you can play this on a regular Richter diatonic harmonica. However, what you can do on an easy third is you can play it between the hole 1 and the hole 7, which means you have 2 full octaves with no bends, right? No need to bend whatsoever. And that's really great. The minor pentatonic scale is phenomenally useful in all kinds of musical types, including blues, reggae, rock and roll, all kinds of stuff, right? Folk music. So what I'll do right now is just give you a quick rundown on how to play the scale, the exact notes, what it sounds like, and then I'll give you a couple of tips for ways to liven it up in your playing. So, first things first, I've got a harmonica in the key of A tuned to easy third layout. All right, this is a special 20 in case you're curious about that. I'm going to play the scale for you between hole 1 and hole 4, and then between hole 4 and hole 7, and then I'll tell you the exact notes, and I'll give you those tips. So this is what the scale sounds like. Alright, so it's really simple, no bends whatsoever needed to actually get the scale. Alright, so starting at hole 1 drop, hole 2 drop, hole 3 blow, then hole 3 drop, then hole 4 blow, then hole 4 drop. And you repeat that same breath pattern in the next octave. Hole 4 drop, hole 5 drop, hole 6 blow, hole 6 drop, hole 7 blow, and then hole 7 drop. And you can go back down the same way, just in reverse. So pretty simple. Again, no bends needed to play the scale. Scales like the pentatonic scales, the minor and major pentatonic scales, really great because you really can't play a bum note, right? As long as the scale is centered to the key of the music that you're playing along with, it'll sound pretty good, all right? If it's a sad sounding song, pick this minor pentatonic scale and it will sound pretty good. And you can pretty much just riff across those 2 octaves, basically hitting the home notes at 1, 4, and 7 draw when you want resolution, and then lingering maybe on the 3 and the 6, particularly when you want a little bit of tension, all right? So just a couple of example riffs for you to sort of get your mind wrapped around that, what they might sound like. Alright, so any sort of tense moments in that particular riff, I was really hitting the 3 draw, and the resolution where it sounded really nice at the end, that was the 1 hole drop. Now you can add a couple of additional notes into that scale on either end. You can do the one whole blow perfectly fine, and that's what you heard when I was right at the end, right? So blow and then draw 2 times just to sort of resolve that thing. On the upper end, the breath pattern changes on this particular way that I've tuned these particular harps. You can get easy third harps where the breath pattern stays the same all the way up to whole 10. In these ones, the whole breath pattern changes between 7 and 8. And you can add those notes, but I'm not going to go into that now, just because you may have the pre-configured easy third tuning that goes all the way up, right? Just keep in your mind that you can add at least the one whole blow and potentially more notes on the upper end of the scale too, all right? So that's something to practice, just sort of getting to some tension with that 3 or 6 hole draw and then resolving back to the 1 or the 4 or even the 7, all right? Another thing to do is to add in some nice bends to give a little bit of feeling and soul to the music. The really good places to bend are on that home note and on that tension note at 3 or 6, okay? So I'll play another riff where I'm doing some bends, just sort of inflection bends to go into and out of the notes, and you'll kind of hear how that adds a little bit of a different feel to it. Alright, so nothing major there. You don't have to bend down to hit any specific tone. You just sort of put on these little inflections, right? So when I'm hitting the home note there at the end, I'm just scooping into it. Just scooping into it. And when I hit that 6th draw, that one is really cool because when you bend down a little bit, now you're adding a little bit more of a blues feel to it because you're starting to hit that sort of one of those blue notes that exists in the blues scale that the minor pentatonic is part of, all right? So when you are playing along, especially to blues, bending on that 6 or that 3 will really add kind of a nice feeling, a nice bluesy feeling to the music. The other thing that you heard me sort of demonstrate there is what I like to call box patterns, and these are really easy to play on this particular scale between holes 3 and 4 and holes 6 and 7, where you have both blow and draw notes on both of those particular holes that are in the scale, all right? And so basically what you can do is just get going any kind of in and out rhythm and go back and forth between those holes, and then jump down a little bit to add maybe a low tone, jump up a little bit to add a high tone. And so more specifically what that might sound like is something like this. Alright, so basically what I was doing is mostly staying between the 3 and the 4 and then going up between the 6 and the 7 and just doing a bunch of in-outs, 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 in-out-out, in, that kind of stuff, right? So basically just find a nice rhythm with your breath and stay on those notes, and basically because the scale is going to sound good, there's no bum notes in the scale, the pattern is also going to sound good. Get that rhythm matched to the groove of the music, and you can just go and go and go on those kind of patterns, and it sounds really neat. And every once in a while you go up or you go down to add just some sort of flavor, a little extra texture, something like that, all right? And finally, one last tip is that you can just use that draw chord as a sort of accent note to when you're playing this particular scale, because all the draw notes are actually scale notes, all right? So that draw chord is going to sound really nice over the scale. And that sort of sounds like this. basically that draw minor chord that exists in this tuning system sounds really great, interspersed as an accent, as a texture with that scale. And I find that really useful for solo playing. If I'm just going to pick up this harmonica and play something, somebody asks me to play something, I will just do something like that. I like to play reggae music, so I'll do that kind of... Right? You can also throw in the blow chord too. It doesn't sound bad at all. It actually sounds pretty nice, sometimes juxtaposed against that draw chord. So here we do that actually once in that little riff. And in fact, if you want to do some cool reggae stuff, you just play those blow and draw chords on the offbeat, and then you can throw in a couple of quick runs on that pentatonic scale. So so you kind of get the point of this video is that this tuning gives you a really neat multi-octave approach to playing this kind of minor pentatonic music, which covers a lot of genres and gives you a lot of possibilities just by changing the tuning of your pretty much standard Richter by 3 or 4 notes, right? I think that about does it for now. When I get another free moment, hopefully not too far in the future, I will try to continue this lesson series on easy third layout for diatonic harmonic. Catch you on the flip side.